Hey everyone, it is Editor RLS here. Unfortunately, we could not get the footage of Game 1 for this round, but we will continue with Game 2, Troy being up a game against Chris. Enjoy!
And we're going to do Jiggly Cam.
It'll be fine.
Dun, dun.
What's with the quality, we had to change the camera, and this is all we have. I'm also a broke bish.
Shout out to Wonderland Games as well, because why not?
Yeah, they've been really helpful and really accommodating. Every place I've been to has been good.
They've been very, very helpful throughout the course of the weekend, so they haven't... Stream being scuffed is Rob's fault. Well, you know, I am the one that kind of just broke everything, so... Not really. How could you have done this to me?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's something I can do to change the quality. Oh, oops.
That's the wrong button.
That's me. That was me. No one.
Oh, there's a very fast opening hand there.
Ooh, yeah. Chocolita into and...
So he's going Chocobo Sam into Chocolate straight off the bat, because it looks like Chris knows that he needs to go aggressive to try and...
Yeah, the normal play here is search up Fat Chocobo if he's still running it, go that, then search up Chocolita.
Yeah, but
he wants to go faster, yeah.
He wants to go a lot faster in this particular game because... it's been very clear that Troy is actually going to win out the long game.
Yeah, like just the grind, the fact that Troy basically about halfway there, Troy just needed to relax.
Actually, you know what? I think the reason why Chris didn't go with the Fat Chocobo is because he had the other Chocobo in his hand, so it didn't matter.
Fat Chocobo's a dead card. Yep. Yeah, so there was no point there.
They were corrected. Yeah, we can't say that one on the stream. Sorry, buddy.
At least not this one. I'll do it on my gaming ones.
Oh, and speaking of aggressive plays, so Cecil into Warrior of Light. We're going hard aggro today from Troy.
Yeah, and he doesn't even care about the untap when you have no backup to untap.
Yeah.
And he also is now protecting his field.
Not that it matters. So yeah. So this is, and there's the Althea. So
tapping Chocolita, of course. So you get those counters on her, juicy counters.
Troy going all in on this one. He's just like, let's get this game over early.
Does he want to take a turn to Tyro and set up? No, he wants to go Zidane.
Yeah, he's just going all in. This is a very smart play from Troy, because he's like, I'm a game up. I'm not going to play the slow game with you today.
And he takes a Rosa.
Takes the Rosa. I see two Finas in hand, if I'm not mistaken.
That's really bad, because Chris's loss in game 1 was not getting the early Rosa. He only got Rosa in the later half of that game.
Yeah.
And losing the early Rosa
and he could take the Chocobo now as well.
Yeah.
So, this is looking horribly bad for Chris. He's getting like hard aggroed out here.
Is that a Fina?
That's two Finas.
I guess it's not worth Finaing.
It's not worth Fina. Yeah, we're just having a little bit of a laugh and a joke, saying, "Oh yeah, you can take the Chocobo Sam back because and the spare Fina because that's not an option." So, I think in this particular situation, Troy just takes the Chocobo and says, "Yeah, exactly. Take the Chocobo, put your fight further behind." And then there's Lulu, Cecil in the attack. It's another Fina.
And Warrior of Light.
And there goes a Dryad as well. So there goes one of the best answers.
Yeah.
That,
Chris. Ooh, Chris, my dude, you gave me a heart attack.
Yeah.
He nearly missed the Chocolita trigger.
Nearly missed putting the counter on, but that's fine.
Oh, that gave me a heart attack for a second. Like, no.
Yeah, Troy's decided, I'm going to be in the driver's seat today. I don't actually care about setting up anymore. I'm just going to aggro you out, which is actually good, because there's a lot of cards in Troy's deck that incidentally have haste written on them. So Skittles can just go hard aggro.
Yeah, and if you're sculpting Chris's hand with the Zidane, it means he's not too scared of storming, because he limits the storm abilities.
Exactly. So ripping Rosa, ripping Chocobo, that's going to put a massive dent into Chris's game plan here.
Yeah, the only way that could have been better is if Chris had drawn his Atomos and then he got rid of the Atomos. That would have just been
No, I think even the getting rid of the Chocobo was still just a killer.
Yeah, but there's only one Atomos in the deck where there's 3 Chocobos. Getting rid of his only Atomos means he's lost that Storm ability completely. Unless the deck has been changed. I have seen people running 2 Atomoses now instead of the 1.
No, he's only run the 1 Atomos.
Okay.
Yeah. Not sure how many of that Chocobo that he's running. I think he's only running the 2 because he's
2
decided.
now, not 3?
Yeah, because he's added the Diabolos into his deck.
Okay, I haven't seen the deck list, so...
Yeah, like, we had them here earlier, but our Lord and Savior Column took them away from us.
Our toys.
The good Lord giveth, and the good Lord taketh away.
Yes, and this is game 2.
This is game 2, and Troy's 1 game up.
Yeah, so I think Chris is going through all his lines right now.
Yeah,
because
he is very deep in the tank. I think he has to actually go for the 7 now. Otherwise, he's just going to get eaten alive. Like, this is actually his last turn unless he can go for the 7 now. He has to. He has no choice.
The worry is, though, if he gets to his 7 and has no way to protect the Luso, dull Warrior of Light kill the Luso, he's lost his resurge of it. I think he's doing the calculation he'll be doing now is, can I stop enough while setting up? Can I stop enough damage to live while setting up at the same time, or do I go for it and if I can or can't? And it's called Miracle Win for a reason. So a lot of the times you're just top decking and hoping to get that next storm.
But here's the thing, right? We already know that. We actually already know Chris's hand because he's got 2 Phenas and a Chocobo Sam in it.
But he just drew 2 cards, so those 2 cards are going to be the factor.
Well, he's got 3 unknowns in his hand, right?
Yeah.
He's got 3 unknowns in his hand. That's the thing that we need. That needs to be the exact correct cards. It needs to be a Lulu. It needs to be an Asura. It needs to be a Rosa. It needs to be a
Luso.
A Luso.
Yeah.
It needs to be, like, pretty much he needs to have 4 cards out of the 3 that he drew.
Yeah, like even if he somehow got the played Eevee, dull Chocolate, put a counter, untap it, draw a card, could have been good. Storm count 1, but yeah.
But that's the problem, though. He still needs to have the Rosa to even think about going off, and he's just way too far behind right now.
Unfortunately, Miracle Winds has put itself in an awkward position by becoming so dominant, it's such a good deck and locked in such a strong spot. We're seeing all these decks that have come in that are able to just try and disrupt it.
You know what? I think it's actually a different story than that. I think everybody has really, really underestimated how easy it is to get Skittles online.
Because we're really in a solid spot for multicolor right now.
Absolutely, and the new Warrior of Light has really picked things up. The new Zidane, I see people underestimating that Zidane. Why? Why are you underestimating?
I don't feel people underestimate the Zidane. I feel people ignore the colors because it's in such a weird color fact. People go, well, Winged Fire doesn't exist, so why do I need to even look at this card?
Yeah, but the problem is Wind Fire now does exist, and it's called Warrior of Light.
Yes.
It just happens to have Earth and Water attached to it, but you don't care about that.
And we were getting this setup all the way from the beginning, from the set before, because we were seeing the Arc card come in as well. Mm-hmm. We were seeing, we were seeing setup for Fire Wind becoming a thing. And here's the other thing: everyone just goes, Wind does one thing. It doesn't. It does one thing really well, but then it can work with all these other colors and do other stuff.
Yeah. So what's Chris's out right now? He needs
a way of board wiping without targeting. He needs...
So I think what he's out is he needs to have actually had... So within his 3 cards, I've got another thought process. He needs to have had Yuffie, another Yuffie, and...
Yuffie doesn't work. Cecil, right? He'll have to discard 2 cards to get the kill, won't he? Was Yuffie a board wipe?
So Yuffie is in essence a board wipe, because Cecil specifically says 1 or more.
Oh, right. It targets 2 things, he'll only need to pay 2 for it for the 1 instant. That is correct, yes.
So
I just couldn't remember the wording of Yuffie.
So he needs Yuffie, exactly.
Yeah.
So he needs big Yuffie and another Yuffie. Like, pretty much exactly to get himself out of the situation.
Okay, so he's got the Lulu.
So one of the cards he drew was Lulu.
Right, so he's getting back Asura.
Picks up Asura.
No. Which I think makes sense.
Yeah. Do apologize for the glare on the cards there. That's just sleeves being sleeves, really.
Yeah. I've been saying, I put on for Discord, if you haven't joined, I've said that any donations, everything I get from now on, even on the gaming stuff, is going to go to upgrading my tech.
This is... Alright, so
he's bouncing he's bouncing, I think he's targeting to bounce the Lulu. Dull Chocolita to put a counter, pay the other back up to Asura untap, go Lulu again with the dead cards in his hand, discarding them 1, get another summon back, we'll get the Asura back.
Well, now it comes down to where, now he's left himself wide open, so one of the other cards has to, because we know 3 of the cards in his hand now.
Yeah, but he would have discarded one of the dead ones. He would discard one of the dead ones to cast the Lulu.
So if he discards, so he's going to go
he
for the ping now.
So he discarded Chocobo Sam. He would have discarded Chocobo Sam.
There we go. So he's playing the Asura now, put the counter on in the response. So now he's going to just Althea again.
Yes. And then gets rid of the other dead card we saw. Oh no, well Fina's not a dead card, but yeah, if he has another dead card. Yeah, but if he has another dead card. So now he's going to draw a card. So this is all still on the stack. Yeah.
So now he's going to Althea again. So yeah. So he's picked
and
up
Storm Count 2 now.
Yes.
Yeah. Lulu Althea.
Well, Lulu Asura.
Sorry, Asura. Lulu Asura. And now he Altheas.
Yeah. Well, now he's still stuck in the same situation that he was in before. So he's still on Storm Count 2, but does he have a Luso?
Yeah, but he also drew 2 cards out of that. One card. He drew 1 card out of that move. Oh no, 2. He got the Asura back from bin and he draws a top deck card. So he would have net plussed himself 2 cards at this point.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's just trying to refill his hand with stuff he wants. Because he basically discards a dead card if he has one for the Lulu again, gets the Asura back or something else.
Yeah, so there hasn't really been much in the way of hard card draw out of this one. And that's what I'm trying to think about, because
Alexander off the top might be really good if he gets to 3 counters, storm counts. Draw 2 or 3 cards.
So Alex, he doesn't run that Alexander.
He doesn't run. Oh, that lost the spot. Wow.
So the summon package is, I believe, it's 3 Dryad, 3 Diabolos,
3 Asura,
2 Asura, 2 Chocobo.
2 Chocobo, 1 Diabolos.
No, he's running 3 Diabolos.
3 Diabolos. Okay.
So the main reason for the Diabolos in the deck is for the
untapped Chocolita.
Yeah, so the Diabolos is actually there for the Category 13 matchup, solely for the Category 13 matchup, because everybody loves that deck. They just kill the lightning before the damage comes through. But yeah, in this particular instance, Troy's done exactly the correct thing, just gone hard aggro, and
especially with, again, like you said, the advantage on match, he's 1 game ahead.
And he didn't even mind paying the extra for the Zidane in that one, because Zidane was just like, cool, I'm just going to keep on ripping your hand to shreds.
Yeah, well, essentially Zidane became an 8 cost where your opponent pays 4 of it. So he's losing 2 cards to take away 2 cards from his opponent. Oh no, he redraws them, but he at least gets to take away 2 cards he wants.
Like, that was an incredibly dangerous situation for the early Zidane, and then all of this. So with everything that's going on here right now, I can understand entirely Chris going so very deep in the tank.
I think right now he's calculating his lines. He would be just working on his lines, like what can I do, what can't I do, what's safe, what's not safe. And even if all the lines lead to dead ends, he's just going to keep trying to figure one out. He's gonna sit there and think it through.
But yeah, it's quite safe to say that Troy is in a very commanding position right now.
Also, I'd like to say something quickly, if you don't mind. I want to thank everyone who followed and putting me up to 401 follows. Thank you guys so much. Like, I appreciate that, and getting me to the 400 is a good milestone.
Shout out to everybody that came over from the Rudrose Discord.
Yeah, all of you guys are amazing.
That really helped bump the numbers up massively.
They finished their one, didn't they?
They've got their day 1 finished.
All right.
So they're cutting to top 16 for tomorrow.
And I'll be spamming that in the Discord for my people. Again, if you're up and want to watch more FF content, please do so. And also let us know if you want to see some side events tonight.
In addition to that, the Benelux MATEria Cup has also happened. They've finished their day 1 as well. They'll be going into day 2 tonight.
Gotta get a full FF weekend, you guys. We're gonna have 3 top 8 lists or to top 16 lists.
Mm-hmm. Just what we always wanted, huh? So as far as
Chris is just making sure. Chris is basically the engine is going on. I think he has to go Lulu Asura again, untap my stuff.
Yeah, so he's got his 3rd cast down because the Althea's back in play. So that's cast number 3. So if he goes Lulu, pick up Asura, that's 4. Asura is 5. Then he'd need to have 2 more to get to the 7 to get the sweep.
I don't think he's going for the 7. I think right now with less card draw options, he's trying to see how many times he can untap that Chocolita.
Alright, so we're going to have Lulu.
He's grabbing Chocobo to bounce, I think. He grabs Chocobo to bounce, draw a card. He has to.
It's if he's got one in the bin.
I think he does. I think I saw him discard one before, but I could be wrong.
JP Sapporo event starts tonight as well, so we're going to get 4 lists out of this weekend.
That is amazing. I love that so much.
That is going to be fantastic for the course of the competitive season here.
I'm going to get yelled at on break at work next week. just going to be reading
Too
them
much
every
scrolling.
chance. My students are like going to be asking me math questions, and I'm like, Lulu, what?
Alright, so just no real confirmation on what we picked up with the Lulu.
If he has the Chocobo, he would have grabbed the Chocobo, I feel.
But would he not have grabbed the Chocobo the first time round?
No, he grabs the Asura the first time round to untap his stuff, to bounce the Lulu to then get the Chocobo.
The ultimate question becomes whether or not the tapping for the Warrior of Light was on the stack of picking up stuff. Because if it was, then there would have been very likely been the case that if there was the Chocobo targeted, then in response ping. Because he had to tap the Althea. Oh, no, you let him pick up the summon. That's right.
Yeah, he let it.
Which I believe was the Asura. And then if he has the Chocobo in the bin, which we're not entirely sure.
He already shot with the Warrior of Light bullet.
Yeah. But if he had the Chocobo in the bin to pick up, then...
Yeah, but that's why he would have grabbed the Asura first time. If he cannot protect the Lulu, he would have got the one that lets him untap his backups and start again. Especially because that Asura gave him a card draw off the Chocolita.
Well, the situation, as far as I see it at the moment, is like he has to go super deep in the tank. It looks like he's got, 4 cards in hand?
4 cards, I
Four
believe.
cards in hand.
No, maybe it is 3. I thought I counted 4. 1, 2, 3. No, it looks like 4. 4. That's 4.
It is 4.
Travis is very much, he always yells at Chris, you shuffle your hand too fast, I can't see your hand during commentating. How do you do that? You make like 5 cards look like 1 and then 7 at the same time.
That's an old TCG habit there, though.
Everyone has their own while thinking or while waiting.
Yeah,
trick.
I'm a card shuffler myself, so I can understand what's going on there. But the interesting thing is, what's Chris's out?
Yeah, if he has one, that's the thing. If there is one, he's
honestly,
frantically searching for it right now, like frantically.
I honestly don't think he has one.
He needs to keep drawing. He needs to storm count while drawing cards. He needs to storm count while drawing cards and get the miracle.
So he's cast the Asura.
So it was the Asura he grabbed then.
Alright. So he's going to be activating his backup. So that's casts 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
So... Alright, so he's got Bismarck. So he drew Bismarck.
So bounce Lulu, draw a card.
But that doesn't save him.
No.
Doesn't save him from Zidane or Warrior of Light.
What he needs...
So let's put Chris down to 1 card.
How big is Zidane?
Zidane is a 7k.
Yep. So it's not even Bismarckable.
So you can't Bismarck the Zidane.
Oh no, you can't even do it anyway because of the Cecil.
and Cecil makes it hard to target.
So
it doesn't matter. So there's no point actually
no
doing it. So the pickup would then be.
It would be a backup to draw a card. He'd pick up a backup to draw a card.
Yeah. So then.
Okay. So
so
those are the three. He's tapped his left
I
Chocobo
see
Sam up.
so he's left Chocobo Sam up to try and
Threaten the pump.
Yeah, protect the Bismarck, but that's not.
Doesn't matter. Warrior of Light is a 10k anyway.
Right. So he's picked up the extra Chocobo to draw the card, and that's the turn passed.
Yeah, because that Chocobo is the most expendable card on the backup line. So if he doesn't want to replay the backup, he has an expendable card to discard to do stuff.
Yeah. All right. So let's see what Troy does here, because we know that Troy's got a lot of powerful removal effects in the deck.
And Zidane is unblockable at the moment.
Zidane cannot be blocked by forwards that will cost 3 or more, so nothing on Chris's board can block that Zidane.
Yep. So the big question will be...
Alright, so Zidane
he's going first. The question would be whether it's first or last.
Alright.
Chris has already selected the card.
It's the two Phener. So he still has the two Pheners in his hand.
Yeah, and the
So
Chocobo.
he's exiled the Phener. Says a Lulu to damage.
Which isn't bad for Chris. That's not a bad hit for Chris if that Lulu lives.
So then,
which actually no, it might not with the Warrior of Light there.
Yeah, Warrior of Light is a safe swing, but I see why the Chocobo Sam was left up, because then Lulu doesn't die to a Warrior of Light ping.
Yeah. The question that'll be for Troy is do I bait him to do the Lulu pump, or do I bait him to do the trade with Bismarck?
Well, he doesn't trade with Bismarck.
It will be 10k to 10k, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but Warrior of Light is keyword soup.
First strike?
He has haste, first strike, and brave.
Alright, yeah.
So Warrior of Light has got every single keyword.
Yeah, so the question...
Warrior of Light is always... There's only one time when Warrior of Light is not a safe attack, and that's when there's another Warrior of Light on the other side of the table.
Yeah. Or the new Althea when he gets...
Alright, so he's just let that through, and that's a Luso into damage. Now, Chris is only running 2 of those now. He's had to cut back. So that is...
I hate that. That hurts my soul.
That's kicker. Alright, so we're gonna play Tyro.
Can he grab something that'll... Oh, well, it's gone to second main, so I think he's...
Yeah, so we're in main 2, so the Tyro is probably just getting like an insurance card or something.
Yeah. Yeah, so the key thing here will be if Chris taps the Chocobo Sam and the Althea to do something, do I Warrior of Light and hope he has nothing in hand to save the Lulu? That'll be the bet, because if Chris is gonna pass, you got to attempt the kill anyway. Like that kill has to be attempted, or it's a wasted turn.
Not for the Warrior of Light.
So if him doing nothing, Chris passing, he doesn't dull it. That's not a wasted turn with it.
So Chris, well, the thing is, the situation for Chris is basically dead on board. Okay.
Vanilla.
So he's going to use the Vanille to search for the lightning. That's in the
But
deck.
it's second main phase right now.
It's second main phase, so it's no big deal.
So
unless
Chris
he's just searching for the fire CP. So he's just past turn.
Yeah. I would still risk, if Chris dulls Chocobo Sam and Althea at the same time, I would definitely go Warrior of Light to kill. Chris has to expend resources from hand to save it or stop it.
Well, the thing is, Chris now has enough dead cards in his hand that he could probably safely play something while pitching cards. So he doesn't necessarily have to tap out his backups. The problem becomes neither of the cards that he had in his hand when we last saw, which were the Chocobo and the Phener, will actually do anything here.
Yeah, he's top decking. He is top decking. That's why I said the Lulu in damage wasn't going to be too bad, because he didn't want to draw that. The Luso unfortunately was one he probably wanted to see.
Luso is a horrible card to see in the damage zone there, but I don't think he was Lusoing this turn anyway.
Yeah, I think Yuffie right now. 2 Yuffies. If you draw 2 Yuffies...
It has to be 2 Yuffie.
Yeah.
It has to be 2 Yuffie, otherwise even then, what do you kill?
Yeah, but at that point it's not so much what do you kill, at that point it's more of I don't lose next turn. Right now Chris is not trying to win, Chris is trying to not die. Once he's in the stabilized position, then Chris will have a breath to calculate win conditions.
But that's where the things come in, right? Because he's so Troy's searched for the Vanille, right? He's very clearly got something in mind with that Vanille. Whether or not it's used the Fire CP to Amaterasu something, or use the like, or use the search later to get something else. He's definitely got something in mind for that card, even if it's just CP.
Yeah, that Zidane has just done so much difference for the game.
And that Zidane has, like, even like early on, that the Zidane is just ripping hands to shreds, and everybody was saying it's a bad card.
I never thought it was a bad card. I just thought the color, like I said, the color matchup was not the best. But maybe it is the best because it pulls two colors that weren't being used together.
Well, the thing is, the colors that weren't being used, being pulled together, fire and wind, are already being pulled together by Warrior of Light.
Yeah.
So what difference does it make running Warrior of Light in your deck? Like you're already running Warrior of Light, add Zidane.
Yeah. And between Bash, Tyro, you can search up whatever you need.
Mm-hmm.
And Cecil playing stuff for free that's off color is amazing.
The aggressive Cecil into Warrior of Light play, that was...
No, I think that was brilliant.
That was absolutely fantastic, and it was what Troy needed to do just to get like the early aggression on the board. But then the follow-up Zidane is what really is hammering the point home at the moment.
Yeah, the thing I found, like, in my locals, the thing that's hurt Mono Wind ironically the most is, you remember the Ice Goblin monster when a character enters this opponent discards 2 cards?
Oh, when
an opponent plays a character, Buckaboo, yeah. I saw someone run the Goblin Shell to search up Buckaboo, play it against Mono Wind, and then go ahead, try and storm and lose cards out of your hand and break your storm count. And it was ironically really effective.
Alright, so we've got a Yuffie.
Yep, alright.
And he's going to pitch 2 cards to play the Yuffie.
Yeah, he does the Choco Leader because he needs the Chocobo Sam and the Althea up.
Yeah. So... Okay, so that puts Chris down to 2 cards in hand. So one has to be another Yuffie. Like, he basically... Yep, so he's going to shoot the Lulu now.
Mm-hmm. See, I think... That's a hard decision.
Because if
Chris is wondering if he's discarding a card to the Chocobo Sam or not.
Well, the situation is, if he has the Yuffie to do the Yuffie thing, right, the Doom of the Living, he's going to go empty-handed.
Yeah.
Sure, Troy's not exactly in the most ideal of situations himself, but Chris is going to be empty-handed.
And the good thing for Chris is, if there is going to be the Yuffie special, Chris has to target the Zidane. So either Warrior of Light or Cecil lives, and both of those are just good things to keep alive.
In that situation, I'd kill the Warrior of Light.
You kill the Warrior of Light, 100%.
There's no risk of it coming back down anytime soon.
Yeah.
And then it's just roll from there.
Yeah, and to be honest, Cecil, like I said, Cecil may be the worst case scenario to keep, but that's not a bad worst case scenario to keep.
Yeah, the biggest problem though is that he's using the Chocobo to pump.
So yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh, what?
He's picked up the Yuffie with the Bismarck to draw an extra card. So he's going to try.
At end of turn. So
that's the end of the turn trigger.
Okay, so Chris has something in hand. Chris has something in hand to kill the Zidane. Probably he just won cards in hand.
Yeah, so he wanted to have the extra cards.
Yeah, and Yuffie's the best thing to bounce there because he can't protect it anymore, and that meant Warrior of Light would kill it in main phase. Oh, he's attacking? Did we?
No, that's the special.
That's the special. There we go.
Alright, so there's the special.
With the 2 cost, I believe. He discarded it.
So now he's to pay the 2 extra.
And Cecil he's doing.
Yep, so now he has to pay the 2 extra.
I think he already... Wait, how much... Does Yuffie have a cost to it?
So Yuffie has a cost of double wind.
Okay, so he hasn't paid for the...
He needs to pay for the Cecil cost.
John just beat Kyle.
So...
An update. John just beat Kyle, so... Dragoons.
Dragoons in your final.
Dragoons beat Ice Lightning.
Yeah. So that'll make the Dragoon player in the chat extremely happy.
Yeah, we got Dragoons in the final.
No, but has he remembered the Cecil trigger that he needs to pay for in this case? Alright. He must have, because it looks like Chris has only got 1 card in hand. So he's gone to the combat step. Alright. Oh, I see what's happened here. So Chris has gone, I'm going to do 7 and 8 and then 9.
Yeah.
Because you get the 24k distribution.
Yes.
Pay for the extra, and then use the Bismarck ping to finish off the Warrior of Light.
Yep. So that's why he killed the Cecil.
Yeah.
Hey,
So he actually gets all 3.
Chris found his stabilization.
All right. So that's
I might as well
5k on.
I might as well
5k on the Bismarck. Alright, so from what we can see from the gameplay, so Troy cast Brynhilda. That was probably what we searched the Vanille for. So he's Brynhildering the...
Bismarck to finish it off after Warrior of Light.
Finish it off after the Warrior of Light got the ping. So, and... Yeah, so that...
And that was his only target anyway, because Yuffie had hexproof at that point. No, Yuffie only special, so he didn't have hex point.
Yeah, Yuffie couldn't attack, so...
He's more scared of the Bismarck than of the Yuffie. Maybe, yes, actually that's not a good point, because while Yuffie's on the field, the haste doesn't matter anymore. Yet giving Chris a Yuffie in hand meant that Chris had a haster to finish up later.
Okay, 3 stream refreshes later, I have both audio and video. Well, there's a combination of a stream refresh and a camera refresh as well.
Yeah.
Like, we actually completely replaced the camera, so that's why it's shaky cam right now.
Yeah, and we've had to put it on the table instead of against the independently on the wall, unfortunately.
Not an ideal situation. All right, so
better than no cam at all.
All right, so we're in Troy's turn by the looks of things.
So Troy getting a top deck Zidane right now is just a win, I think.
All right, so he's playing the Vanille. Searching for Hope. And then he's going to play the Hope. Search for... Yep. Alexander. Free play the Alexander to kill the Yuffie. Because the Yuffie didn't attack. It wasn't untargetable.
Dancer, he couldn't pay me enough. I would not put any of his logos on here.
So that's incredibly clever from Troy. So
yeah.
So now Chris has no longer got a Yuffie in play. He draws up.
And one in bin because of the special, so he's lost 2 Yuffies there.
He's lost 2 Yuffies.
Yeah, the cam is going real shaky. They're starting to... It's getting to that big pace of go.
So Vanille plays Hope. Hope searches Alexander. Alexander kills the Yuffie.
Yeah.
For free, because...
That's what that deck does.
Who else wants free cards, right? I think every deck deserves to have at least 1 free card in it. If Mono Win can do it, why can't everybody else?
The thing I'm waiting for to happen is something like that Sid, where it says if something comes in for free, ping it, but for any card.
People just got to start running Opus 5 Hill Geikers again.
Ooh, yeah.
Actually, no, don't do that. That's don't.
I've seen it.
There's no justification for adding poor cards to your deck.
There is if it beats Mono Wind. Just out of spite.
I mean, is that the justification why the single copy of that Opus 4 Hope is in there? Actually, I know what the justification is for that card. It's because it has tap activator forward written on it, so it can activate Warrior of Light.
Yeah, to do 10k.
So Chris's situation right now, he has got 3 cards in hand. He's got 3 backups in play. He's lost 2 Yuffies, and one of the cards we know that he's probably likely kept is a Fina.
I think he might have discarded it going down to 3 backups.
Well, he kept both of his Finas beforehand.
Yeah, but he still had 4. No, he had 4 backups at that point.
He went down to 3 backups, and he kept both of his Finas.
Okay. Lots of Phil Gigas and Jay. Okay, yeah, that's what I was. I've been seeing some Hill Gigas like legitimately, but I didn't know if it made it to anywhere substantial. But damn.
I think I know the reason why as well, because it also beats up on the mono water matchup a little bit, because you can't activate Lena with that thing in play. But what you do is you just activate the blue worm instead, and then go for the Lena kill.
Yeah. The way I went around, how did I go around? Oh, I basically just used Chocobo Sam, popped Chocobo Sam, then Althea'd and did all the other shenanigans.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, in that case, it does cost you a 4-cost backup instead of a 0-cost monster, but...
Yeah. But I still rather have my other stuff active, because, yeah, Hyogigus locks Althea. It's like one of the few cards that hurts Althea that much, and Chocolita. You can't Chocolita, you can't Althea.
Yeah.
Like, I don't disagree. Terrible card, but if it does good stuff, it does good stuff.
If it does work, it does work.
Yeah. So I'd be curious to see if any of the top 8 in Japan got it.
Curious.
We are in Wonderland.
Games. I had to add that little addition on there. But
you know I set you up with that stuff. Like,
yes, yeah. I know you did.
Yeah, Chris is back to math mode.
Yeah. Or
he's checking his bin because he wants to know what's left in his deck. He's doing the full count now.
The tank is deep.
I don't think it's not about the tank being deep. It's about the stuff I need being at the top of the tank. And do you know what the worst part for Chris has been the last few turns? He's had to tap the Chocolita to survive, which means he hasn't been able to get that value of building up the counters.
That's because Troy's just gone
pressure, yeah.
hard aggro mode, and it's amazing that a deck that has like at least 4 elements in it
being consistent
can be not just consistent but aggressive and powerful without relying on getting its backups down. Like at this stage, Troy's just playing backups to search for more forwards to kill them.
It's also like he's got a moment of breath to set up. He's got the aggro pressure still there. Like losing the turn to play the backup doesn't hurt his pressure.
Yeah. Well, actually, it added to it because then you could play the Vanille to search for the hope to get the Alexander and free kill the Yuffie. All right, so he's playing Lulu.
Yep, get a card back.
He's getting back the Alexander.
No, still thinking. I think he's thinking. Like, I think Alexander, but I want to double check. Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, I always recommend that. Like, even if you got the straight option, check and just think about it before going for the rash. That's the one. Yeah. So is it still Miracle Wind if it's not drawing as much cards? That's the thing I'm wondering now.
All right, so it looks like he might have picked up a Chocobo, perhaps. But the main thing that it looks like is it wasn't necessarily like a Miracle Wind deck. The whole thing about the mono wind deck is that it just played, all right, I've got to pass a turn, okay. So the whole thing about...
Paused? No, okay, they're just checking, I guess.
Yeah. Alright, so we got to... Yeah, so it looks like we're sort of just discussing, okay, this could happen, blah, 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 but... this is game 2, Kronos, and Troy is 1 game up.
Yeah, so if Troy gets this, like Chris is out.
Oh, he's cast Kusith
to get the Zidane. That's what yep.
Oh, no.
And what's...
So he's...
he's gonna Diabolus.
Very nice. But that's game over anyway, so alright.
Hey, we gotta take a drink. Dancing Ronin.
Alright, clink, clink. Oh, that's it. Chris is knocked out. 2 games to 0.
Oof. That's unfortunate.
And Troy advances. So South Australia is knocked out. New South is...
We had Paul knocked out, Alex knocked out, Chris knocked out, and who was the... Kyle.
Kyle just got knocked out by Dragoons.
Oh my god, that's the top 4, isn't it?
So that was a top 4 game. So John is in the finals.
No, but the top 4 all got knocked out. The bottom 4 are in, are they? I'm trying to remember the ladder.
Troy came 4th.
Troy came 4th?
Troy came 4th, Chris came 5th.
Okay, so I was going to say, if we got the bottom of the Swiss ladder getting in, that would have... Because we had that during...
That was
Re-Race Melbourne, wasn't it?
It was Re-Race Sydney, actually.
Re-Race Sydney, where we had the bottom end.
It was always the bottom end. So, and I think John came 6th.
I'm getting it up now. So Paul was 6th.
Okay.
John was 3rd.
All right. So 3rd place is in the finals.
So we have 8, 7, 4, 3.
Yeah. So
with
half and half.
Yeah. Well, obviously we had we had John beat his second match, so John is in the final.
John is in the final, beating second place to get there.
Yeah. So John will be versing whoever wins between Troy and Richie.
Troy and Brian, actually.
Troy and Brian. Yep.
So
we're probably going to be watching Troy and Brian on the stream right now.
Now that will be a very
both
match.
Windex got knocked out.
Yep, both Windex knocked out in the top 8. So is this the rise of the rainbow?
Yeah, like I said, I think everyone, like for the last big events here, everyone's been coming in with how do I beat Mono Wind? How do I beat Mono Wind? How do I beat Mono Wind? And it's starting to take effect.
It's not just that as well. I think everybody's sort of got themselves in a position where they're thinking, yes, Mono Wind is the top deck right now, sweet, but in which direction do we go from here? Like, obviously we've got to beat Mono Wind, but we can't just play a deck that only beats Mono Wind.
We got to see that Cloud in that playmat.
For great justice, absolutely.
Yeah.
About time Wind got thrown out of a tournament.
So I'm going to go check up what we're going to be setting up. I'll leave you guys with Rob. If we had some time, we would have done interviews, but we're obviously now we're getting the matches are all in the moment.
Yeah. Well,
So
there might be a case where Troy might request like having a couple of minutes worth of break.
Yeah. If
after
we get that,
so,
then we'll try and get.
then we'll try and get an interview with one of the guys. All right. While we wait for the next games to get set up, we have the man, the myth, the legend, the reality TV sensation joining us, Shikadi, Chris Matisky. How are you feeling after that?
Yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah.
It's funny because first game, I did so I drew obviously all backup summons for the first 20 turns or whatever, so I couldn't stop him hitting me a bunch of times, and then I spent the rest of the game trying not to die to Zidane. So that was why the last turns took so long, because I was trying to figure out how I can end my turn without him being able to get Zidane and hit me with Zidane. So that's why I had to have his Zidane active, so I could block it if he drew it, and also take away his Lulu so he couldn't get Kusith, take away the Kusith so he couldn't do it anyway.
Yeah.
I had to go him to 6 so that the Shanto would not win in the game, because then I can just haste him with either Yuffie or Zidane.
Yep.
And everything before that, I did everything exactly as I should have done. But then the very last turn, for some reason I bounced. Well, I know why I did it, but I bounced it back up instead of a forward with Althea to pay for the Yuffie special.
Yep.
And then I was 1 CP short the next turn to do the haste Zidane and kill him. But so I should have bounced it forward. The reason I didn't is because I'm so used to, if I'm against things like Warrior of Light or whatever, if I need Althea for the CP, I don't want to target the forwards because they can stack something, kill it, and then you don't get the Althea or whatever. You don't get the CP that you need. But in that situation, his only other thing he can do is Shantoto, which is dump his entire hand anyway. So there's no way he can actually kill my forwards in response. So I should have targeted Typhon or Rosa or whatever. So that was my mistake. That's why I lost game 1. Game 2. That was super unfortunate. So the turn, my Luso turn, I just had to draw any 2 or less cost off of Chocolate.
Yeah.
But I just drew another Bismarck. It's the most expensive card in my deck.
So we have been noticing that a lot of Wind players have been shifting away from Bismarcks, yourself included, because you dropped down from the 3 down to
so
2.
My 3 cards, so obviously people might have seen in my deck list, there's 3 Diabolos, which is a terrible card, but its only purpose is to improve the matchup against 13. So I didn't expect to see that much 13, so I wasn't going to go all in like Alex did into Lightning and stuff like that. But I did want at least some kind of concession just in case it came up. It didn't, so I have literally never cast Diabolos in the entire tournament. But the 3 cuts for that was 3rd Bismarck, 3rd Bismarck, 3rd Chocobo, and 3rd Asura. Those are the cuts for those.
Yeah.
Which actually might have mattered in that last game, honestly, because probably if that Diabolos was a Chocobo or something, that might have changed something. Anyway, so that was that. I still think Bismarck's very good. The thing is, the reason people are dropping it is because it's not good in a lot of the games that are in the decks that threaten you. It's because it's usually you can't play it early enough against the decks that pressure and threaten you. But without it, the games that go longer. So these days, obviously, Wind is still the king of polite gameplay. It'll still win most polite games, but
100%.
Some decks are actually getting pretty also decent in polite games, and they actually can be games where if you don't draw certain things at certain times, you can actually lose to things.
Yeah.
Whereas Bismarck, you basically can't. If you have a Bismarck, most decks that just blocks them out of the game. They can't play anymore. The instant speed removal is very useful. The constant cycling through your deck, like you find your Typhons, you get your Typhons back, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of that second game, so Khalil and I were debating what you would do with the Yuffie special, because we imagined that you would have drawn the second Yuffie and had that there, right?
Okay.
So the debate was: do you kill the Zidane and the Warrior of Light to prevent the haste but keep the Cecil there, or do you kill those two but keep the Warrior of Light?
I kill all three.
Turns out you actually had the
because I Bismarck thing. Yeah.
We weren't actually thinking about you could just ping the Bismarck as well. So, but a curious thought from that. Assuming that you didn't attack in that turn just so you didn't have to worry about a Warrior of Light block.
Yeah, of course. It's got 10k first strike. Yuffie can't attack into it.
Yeah.
And I have to wait for his attack prep to do the Yuffie special. Like I could do it in my turn, but it's not good. Like I would hang on, let me remember how this worked. I'm trying to remember what my hand was. There was Evray and something. Anyway, the point is Yuffie special basically attack prep almost certainly. Because if I don't do it in attack prep, if he has any of his Kusith, Lulu, whatever, any of his things gets his name back, I'm dead.
Yeah.
So like that's the way I guarantee that I live, and realistically, it's unlikely that he kills Yuffie and Bismarck. Like he did have the cards for it, which is fortunate. Like he literally had to have basically Brynhilde and a Way to Hope, or have Alexander, or whatever. Like that was pretty much the only thing he could have had to kill them both. So whatever, but.
I mean,
it was very fortunate for me he didn't have the Brynhilde previous to that, though. I think he drew for turn, I'm pretty sure.
It might. I think it would have been a draw for turn. Yeah. Like we were actually debating the reason why he got the Vanille in that particular turn rather than just going straight for the Hope. We thought it might have been like he needed the fire CP just on the side there. Like he might have already had.
No, he just wants extra body, right? Yeah. Like because he knows I'm dead. At that point, like I'm on 6 damage. If he clears my board, I have to somehow stop 2 forwards, and I can do it, but not if I draw Alexander and Diabolos for turn.
Yeah,
like I said, drawing that was so obviously if he has the Cecil right, I want to draw the Alexander, and I didn't. There's only one, so fair enough. But then I drew it the turn after.
Of all the times,
to
draw the extra card.
The other one is what else? Oh yeah, so that game actually, finally, realistically, it's possible that I misplayed on this turn 2 not going to 4 backups because I had Athena, and I'm like. I wasn't thinking, there's probably nothing no forward effect that he'll do in his turn. Like, so usually I'm thinking that game I'll usually save Phoenix for Warrior of Light. Usually. That's my main use, I guess. But I wasn't thinking that he's just going to fucking turbo into a Cecil. So I probably, knowing his deck list, I should know he has a Cecil, and I should know he can do that. So I should have actually just dumped my hand into 4 backups, kept Fina, and then... Yeah, so if he does the Cecil... But he might not have done the Cecil seeing that, though, if he sees me go 4 backups like that. Yeah. So it's it doesn't mean everything.
So on that note, I'd like to mention to everybody in the chat that the top 8 for this was open deck lists. Now, yes. So everybody knew what everybody else was doing, and everybody had access to all of the information possible. In addition to that, there was a 5-minute review period before the game started. So how do you think that might have impacted everything?
I mean, for him, it doesn't really give him any extra information because, I'm playing the same deck I've played for the past 3 sets. We
actually did notice that. The deck name is exactly the same thing.
Deck. Yeah.
It's still the same deck.
I even accidentally last set posted my, because obviously last set we got Yuffie and I put Yuffie in and Yuffie was sick and I accidentally posted that deck as public initially and then it was on top of trending decks for a week.
and then you realize
so I'm like, well, there's no secret there anymore. And then so I'm still just playing the same deck. The only Opus 19 cards are Evray and Alexander, both one-offs. Evray you could play more if you want, but it's still skinnable.
Would you even take putting the extra Evray into consideration since you've got the Stilt Skin to search for it if need
Exactly. And that's why I think people would usually play 2 Atoms before Evray. But the thing I find interesting is that the same games that Bismarck isn't good are the same games that Atomos isn't good as well. Yeah. So I do find it interesting that people will drop all their Bismarck to still play 2 Atomos.
Yeah. Oh, well, it looks like we're about to get stuff set up for the next game. So thank you very much for taking the time.
No worries. All good. Thank you.
Commiserations for the top 8.
Not at all. It's all good.
And on the same token,
I already have my invite as well. It doesn't even matter.
You've already got your invite, so it doesn't actually matter.
And it's card games. That's how it goes.
So will we be seeing you in Melbourne?
Good question. Probably. I'll probably just go to every event because I enjoy playing, but I haven't planned or anything yet. But
all right. Well,
no worries.
Best of luck as things go.
Thank you.
Keshler.
Okay, everyone. So that was the man, the myth, the legend himself. We are in the process of getting everything set up for the semi-final game. We will be right back as quickly as possible to keep everybody up to date. So this game will be Troy versus Brian. It is Rainbow versus Rainbow. This will be a very interesting game. Stay tuned.